What's going on YouTube? It's Giga here, bringing you some more Series 9 Wi-Fi battles with live commentary. We are once again playing this dual weather team featuring a sand mode as well as a sun mode. So hopping straight into our first game, we're actually playing Mogar, and this is a team that they used for, I think, the No Dynamax tournament. So it is actually really exciting to see going against such a really good player. So we're looking at Raichu, Garchomp with Incineroar, Tapu Fini, that Alola Ninetales and Celesteela. So I'm thinking Torkoal Venusaur. The fear is they do have access to weather, so I'm honestly thinking Venusaur Porygon with Torkoal in the back, and then maybe Dragovich? I'm thinking Dragovich strictly for Incineroar. I could also bring Tyranitar, but I don't really want to give them a boost. Corviknight isn't the best. I'm gonna go with the Dragovich. I don't necessarily think it's the best option, but I think what's really nice about this lead is we do have the option to switch out Torkoal in the event that they do want to lead with something and have it pivot out into Ninetales to try and control the weather. So looking at a lead, we are going to see Celesteela and Incineroar. So this is a little bit tricky. I expect probably a fake out into the Porygon slot. So I don't want to commit. So what I could do is I think I'm going to just go for a Trick Room Earth Power with the idea that if we can get out Torkoal safely, Torkoal's in a really good spot versus this lead because it does have a big eruption as well as having Earth Power for Incineroar. So I want to just I just want to put pressure on with damage with the idea that, okay, if you go for Fake Out, I don't want to waste my max and use it on, what is it called? On Venusaur prematurely. The issue, though, is, I mean, I do have Dragovich, so let's see. So they're not going to go for Fake Out, which tells me that they're most likely going for Taunt on Incineroar, as we are going to see, we do get the Special Defense drop, which is actually really good. We do see, yep, the Taunt is going to come out from the Incineroar onto Porygon 2, as we are going to see the Leech Seed come out as well. So what I'm thinking at this point is we can go for an Earth Power again onto Incineroar because they don't have a good answer. And honestly, maxing isn't the worst option right now. Right? They have nothing that can come in and take it. So what we can do is we can get a boost. I want to do this, and then I want to go for a swap out into Torkoal here. I think it is really obvious, but given the fact that we do get the Special Defense drop onto Incineroar, we do have a chance of knockout. I mean, not a chance of knockout. We will pick up the knockout unless they max the Incineroar, which isn't unheard of, but then we do have Dragovich in the back, which can come out pretty freely, and honestly, we could potentially... no, we don't want to max it. I think that would be a silly kind of option. So we're going to see no switch. And... Alright, so it looks like we're going to see a max Incineroar, which is a little bit scary. But I think all things considered, it does... Oh, okay, just kidding. We're going to see a max Celesteela, which should be fine. I'm expecting Celesteela to go for an Airstream, and we're going to see no Protect onto Incineroar, so we are going to be able to pick up a knockout there. And I think the fact that we are, what is it called? We have, yep, okay, so we do have Koba, so we are going to be able to live this, and we should still outspeed we will outspeed the Celesteela. We also do have, I was going to say we do have 2 max Quake boosts, but we don't because of the fact that we aren't maxed. But if we do max and go for a max Quake, we are in a really good position. So let's see what they want to bring out. I think it might be worth just going for a Vine Lash. The main issue is Torkoal is our only answer in a Celesteela. As we are going to see Garchomp come out, I think it is worth just going for a Vine Lash. Going for a Vine Lash here and then swapping out into Porygon. Because what? We're probably going to see an Earthquake come out from Garchomp. So if we can try and preserve Venusaur as much as possible, I think that that's in our best interest. We probably, in all honesty, should have gone for, what is it called? Gone for a late game max. Because now we're in this really awkward spot where we do have the Sun out with Dragovich, which isn't going to like that. And we have no way of getting a speed boost on it. I mean, they could have maxed Rockfall. So that would be really good for us if they go for a max Rockfall. Because then what we can do is we can bring out Dragovich and get really big Vicious Rens off. As we are going to see the Garchomp Protect, which I think is really smart because you're just trying to bait out an attack into it, as we are going to go for a Vine Lash. And unfortunately, we are going to do pretty much nothing and have this Celesteela go for a really big max Airstream. So now, yep, they are going to pick up the knockout into Venusaur. I don't think Garchomp gets Protect. So we do have a pretty safe Trick Room with Porygon and Protect with Torkoal. Because they can't, yeah, I don't see a way for them to stop the Trick Room, right? Okay, oh, and it's Special Defense Celesteela, because we did see it was defensive. So it's not like they're powering up as a result of picking up that knockout, but they will be in a better position to survive an Eruption. So I'm guessing, what, probably a max Rockfall? If they have it. So I want to go for a Protect right here, as well as a Trick Room with Porygon, just because I don't see a good way for them to deny the Trick Room, and getting that set up with Torkoal, I think, will put us in a really advantageous position. Okay, so they do have an answer, and that is go for the flinch, and I think, yeah, sometimes you have to go for the flinch as your best chance, and it's probably going to be a double up onto Porygon from this position, as we are going to see an Airstream come out, yep, into Torkoal. It's not going to take that much, so this is a really crucial moment of do we get the Trick Room off, or do they get the flinch? And we do set up Trick Room, so that's huge. We can go for a really big Eruption, as well as what is it called? A really big Eruption, as well as an attack onto that Garchomp, just to try and chip away at it, because we don't have really good damage onto it. So I mean, at this rate, it is so low that I think an Eruption, as well as, is Eruption neutral onto Garchomp? I'm gonna double up. Yeah, I think this is what makes the most sense. I don't think they have Wide Guard on Celesteela, so we should be okay from this position. We are gonna see Celesteela Protect, which is fine. They are gonna take more Vine Lash damage. We do see a double Protect from Garchomp, which I think is smart, as what you want to stall out Sun as much as possible, but you are taking Volcalith chip damage. So I mean, not Volcalith. You are taking Vine Lash chip damage, so that also isn't really super advantageous, because now what? We are seeing a big chunk removed from Celesteela and Garchomp, to the point where I'm pretty sure Garchomp will go down to, what is it called? Will go down to an Eruption. So I think it's fine just to go for an Eruption, as well as a Shadow Ball, just in the event that Celesteela lives. We do want to guarantee that we can get as much damage onto it as possible. So let's see what they want to go for. I think this is still going to be a little bit tricky, just due to the fact that we have Dragovich in the back and we don't know what their fourth is. So we are going to see them switch out with Celesteela. I think that makes sense, as we are going to see Tapu Fini. So not the best position, because of the fact that Tapu Fini obviously has a really good matchup into Torkoal, but I'm hoping that Okay, they fail the double protect. That's really big. We are going to be able to get an eruption off with this, with the Torkoal. Just get a good amount of chip onto Tapu Fini, and hopefully we can get a special defense drop with this Porygon's Shadow Ball. So that is going to... It's going to do a lot. Okay, because it is a crit, and I think the crit might have sealed it for us, especially because there is the Vine Lash damage, because now we do have turns of Trick Room to work with, where... I think it still is tricky. I think what we do is we go for... This is actually really, really hard. Because Celesteela is healthy. We can't afford to lose Torkoal. And what? There are 2 turns of Trick Room left. Okay. So we can go for, I think, between an Eruption and a Tri-Attack onto Fini. Right? Do I want to Tri-Attack or Shadow Ball? I think we do this. Because if we can get rid of Fini, we will be in a good position, I think, overall. Just due to the fact that... Okay, so we do have 1 turn of Trick Room left. Right? Or was that the last turn of Trick Room? Do I know how this game works? No, there's 1 more turn of Trick Room, right? So... Why am I forgetting? I think I'm just nervous because Mogar is really good, and I'm... and I feel... Okay, so let's think. Yeah, so we can... I think once again we just go for an Eruption here and a Shadow Ball into the Fini. They do need a double protect, which isn't unheard of. We are going to see the Celesteela get it. The big question, though, is Tapu Fini going to get it? Because I'm not super worried about Celesteela in this endgame. I'm more worried about this Tapu Fini. Because now what I can do is I can go for a Protect again, and then... Or not go for a Protect again. I can go for a Protect and then set up another Trick Room, and then proceed to just put on a ton of pressure with this Porygon 2. Because then I do have Shadow Ball support, so the obvious play here is to go for a Protect with Torkoal, and then go for another Trick Room with Porygon. Because they don't have a way to reverse it, and then from there, they're probably going to try and Leech Seed into Porygon. Yep, we are going to see the Leech Seed come out. So after I get this set up, I can just make a free switch out from Porygon 2 into, what is it called? Into Dragovich, just to get rid of the seeding and make it so they're not gaining as much HP from recovery. And I think the turn that we are able to attack into them should finish things off. I think, yep, we just go for an Eruption. The Protect is obvious. I say we just go for Burning Jealousy and switch out into Dragovich. And then we can switch back out into Porygon 2 the next turn. Because now what they need to do is they need to stall out my Eruption. So we are going to see, yep, Celesteela is going to go for a Protect. So no reason to waste PP on, what is it called? On Eruption. And now is the question of when are we going to... When are they going to fail the Protect? Because we can single target Eruption here and then switch back out into Porygon. And I think if need be, what we can do is we can swap out into Dragovich again to reset the weather, right? Because this is a single target Eruption almost at full health from a Charcoal Torkoal versus a Celesteela. We are going to get the Eruption off, and it looks like it is going to pick up the knockout. So that's really cool. I think getting a big win against a player I really respect is an incredible feeling. Unless this is the wrong Mogar. I'm going to quickly check their channel to make sure. But like that team seems familiar and it's the same name. But yeah, like I said, it is really cool to manage to pull off such a tough win. And let's just keep rocking and rolling and move to game number 2. All right, so I did confirm that that was indeed Mogar. So that's actually, like I said, really, really cool. And so now looking at game number 2, it is Grimmsnarl with Regidrago, another Celesteela, an Alolan Marowak, Garchomp, and Tornadus. Regidrago is really scary, just because of the fact that we don't have anything that really takes a dragon energy well, so I can't really afford for that to get set up. I think, what, Venusaur? I honestly feel like Venusaur Porygon with Torkoal. Porygon, Torkoal. And then the question is, what is the last one? I feel like I need Tyranitar, just because of Regidrago. Corviknight's also really good. I'm just trying to see if there's an argument for Porygon. Not really. We do have them beat on the speed end, assuming we can get rid of Tornadus. So I think, yeah, given the fact that we do need speed control, actually, Porygon would have been a really good choice because of the fact that we don't have fake out pressure, so we cannot deny Tornadus setting up a, what is it called, a Tailwind. So I really expect my opponent to lead with that, just because I think that is going to be their option for dealing with a lot of what my team has to offer. As we are going to see a Celesteela and Tornadus. Yep. Okay, so that makes quite a bit of sense, which puts us in a really tricky spot, I think, because of the fact that we cannot get off an Eruption. I mean, not an Eruption. We cannot get off a Max Quake. So they can pretty freely... we can go for a Sleep Powder. So I think our answer is to Sleep Powder in a Celesteela and get off an Eruption. Right? Yeah, because this... Okay, so we are going to see a Max. Probably Celesteela. It could be Thundurus. I mean, not Thundurus, Tornadus, which just has Max Airstream. So we are going to see Celesteela come out. And so now is an interesting spot, right? Because they have to... Because they're committing to their Max, they have to pick one thing to target. And I think if they target into Venusaur... Yeah, I mean, this depends. We do need to hit the Tailwind. I mean, not the Tailwind, the Sleep Powder. Or they do not have Goggles. We do connect, so that's actually really huge for us, because they're not going to get any damage off into Torkoal, as we are going to be able to get a full HP Eruption in the Sun. And that's going to do surprisingly not that much to either. And I think at this point, what, we can go for a Max Ooze onto... I'm going to go for Max Ooze here and go for another Eruption here, just with the idea that we're going to get a special attack boost, and it doesn't make sense to go for the Vine Lash yet because of the fact that they'll just take it on Celesteela, and we should be in a position where we can KO Celesteela pretty effectively without needing to waste that. And at this point, we're making it so Celesteela doesn't have a way to pick up a knockout onto Venusaur as a result of having Koba. And then we can use Vine Lash Residual to help deal damage. And I'm guessing, given the fact that we saw no Life Orb, leftovers on Celesteela, that they are going to be the Red Herb with... What is it called? Red Herb with Meteor Beam, that's what I'm trying to say. So unfortunate that they do get the second turn of sleep, but it is, I mean, it's a 50% chance, as we are having Venusaur Max with +1 special attack and 2 turns of Max left, as they're down to their last 2, one of which is Regidrago. I think that is still really scary, because Dragon Energy is going to do a ton of damage, especially with that Grimmsnarl out. So I'm going to go for a Vine Lash here and go for a Protect with Torkoal, because now the question is, what are the speed ties? I mean, not the speed ties, the speed tiers, because if we can get some damage on a Regidrago, we are going to see a scary face. Oh, that's really scary. We are going to see Dragon Energy come out, as it does hit into Torkoal, but Venusaur hopefully can live. Venusaur lives on 10. It was a crit, but 10 is more than 0. And that's what we need, because now we're going to be able to... Okay, that also just did a lot. We get a crit in return. It's great, Because now what happens is Regidrago at this point is going to go down from one more turn of Vine Lash, and then Grimmsnarl doesn't have any sort of good offensive pressure. So we can go for a max guard here, and then, yeah, given the low damage output we've seen from Regidrago, because it has no health, we can go for a pretty safe Burning Jealousy, just to guarantee we do get some damage. And unfortunately, my opponent is going to run from that, I think rightly so. And I don't know, like, this is just a really good example of how powerful a well-known core can be that we're not going to see too much of in the next series. And I think it's a little bit unfortunate that the objective is to kind of show off this team as a whole, and I feel like I'm trying to rush out videos and we're not really using the rest of the team. But hey, we got at least one more battle, so let's just keep rocking and rolling and move to the next one. All right, battle number 3, and we do see a Tornadus with a Dragapult, another what is it called? A Dragovich on their side, a Kartana, an Amoonguss, and Rhyperior. So I feel bad about clicking these two, but I think it's it's just such a good option because Venusaur is really good into most of this team, and anything it's not. We do have Kartana. I'm guessing their Dragovich is Scarfed. Yeah, they don't have weather control. Amoonguss is an issue because it can, what is it called? It can go for a Spore onto my Torkoal before I can hit back into them. So that makes it a little tricky. I do like Corviknight. Their team is very physical. And then probably Porygon 2 as well. Just with the idea that Porygon 2 has good damage into Amoonguss. And that's actually one thing that I'm really scared about going into this battle is how am I going to deal with Amoonguss? Because I can't outspeed with Torkoal, and it's very easy for them just to have immediate pressure with that. I think Max Quake is probably my best bet, but I don't want to use 2 turns of my Max dealing with... Okay, so we are going to... Okay, makes sense. We are going to see a Tornadus and Amoonguss as expected, and I think... What? We protect with Torkoal, and we go for... Their team is so physical. It doesn't really make sense. I guess what, we ooze and... We go for an ooze and we try to then pick up the knockout with Quake on the subsequent turn. I kind of wish I had... Weather Ball would be really great right now, because then I would have a max flare into Amoonguss, versus right now I'm just kind of dirtling around, and we don't... Especially now, because they are going to get the Tailwind up with Amoonguss, which is something that is super... Okay. They're going to max Tornadus, which is unfortunate. It is scary because now they can get the Airstream off into Venusaur, but we are going to be faster. So what's going to happen is we are going to get the... Oh, I went for Ooze, not Quake. Ugh, crud. We're going to get the special attack boost as we do have the Koba to help deal with... That did really good damage into Amoonguss. So we will be able to pick up a knockout if we choose to go for... what is it called? If we go for a... What is it called? A Quake the next turn. Or we can... I think we should go for... Okay, so we... I think we should still be faster at +2. Sorry about the drop in frames for a quick second. So now what I'm thinking is if we do see Life Orb, they are going to go for the obvious Spore. So I think what we can do now is we can go for an Eruption here and go for This is stab, so it's 135 versus 130. Go for another max ooze onto the Amoonguss just to try and get some more boosts up. And I think even if we lose Venusaur here, the fact that we are going to have... Oh, actually, we were +1. I should have gone for a Max Quake. Okay, well, that was silly of me. It's not going to matter. Venusaur would have gone down either way, but I think having the boost on Torkoal would have been very beneficial, because we are going to be able to get off a +2 Eruption in the sun at full HP, single target. So we are going to have their Tornadus go down, and so it's 2v3, and I think at this point, the big thing is going to be setting up Trick Room, because I think from Trick Room, Torkoal is in a really good position just due to the fact that it does have so many boosts and they can't max. We can bring up Porygon pretty safely, and then I think if need be, we do have Corviknight as another way of setting up against their team, as it is going to be Rhyperior. So Rhyperior is faster than Porygon, so Rhyperior can... What? We are going to see a Kartana. Okay, so I honestly feel like they're going to double up into Porygon. Because the Protect and Trick Room is so obvious that I really just want a Burning Jealousy and go for a Trick Room. This is a really, really, really risky play, as we are going to see Sacred Sword, come out into the Porygon 2. That's a surprising... And a Rock Slide from Rhyperior. Torkoal is going to live, so we have 2 chances to do big damage. Burning Jealousy is going to come out, should pick up the knockout onto Kartana, which it does, and Rhyperior being under half means with this Trick Room, as long as Porygon doesn't flinch... Okay, so they are going to flinch, so still a little bit scary. I think we go for a Protect and try and set up... Porygon is faster than Rhyperior, so honestly we just go for Shadow Ball. We don't need to set up Trick Room at this point, and yeah, my opponent was just going to run in that situation. I think it did make a lot of sense in that position, because we did still have Corviknight in the back if need be. So yeah, we're kind of continuing to run through it, and this video is really short, so let's play one more game and I'll see all of you in the next one. Alright, last battle, and it is very Trick Room. So it is a Regieleki with Tapu Fini, Urshifu, and Incineroar, a Dusclops, and Glastrier. So Dragovich does not... Oh, never mind. I think we have to go Torkoal Venusaur again, just because of the fact that Regieleki does outspeed Dragovich. I think Corviknight is going to be a really big one against what my opponent has, because of the fact that it deals really well with everything but Regieleki and Incineroar. And then maybe Dragovich as the final one, right? I could do... I guess Porygon. Yeah, I think that works out. It'll be hard for my opponent to set up Trick Room, I think, just due to the fact that I do have Torkoal, which can handle Glastrier really, really well. So this makes it a little bit tricky. I think it is unfortunate that we are just playing Torkoal Venu, but oh well. We are going to see a Regieleki and an Urshifu come out. And it is going to be Urshifu, what is it called? The Fighting Urshifu. The Dark Urshifu, that English words. So, I want to... I'm going to go for a Burning Jealousy and then go for a Vine Lash into... Actually, I could... I mean, Urshifu is going to hit through anyway, so I'd much rather do this, and then... Do I Vine Lash into Urshifu? Because my thought process then is we guarantee break a sash, and the sash is most likely on her Shifu, and yeah, because I don't really see Regieleki doing too much to Venusaur. I think it will be a little bit risky because of the fact that it does have, what is it called? It does have Electroweb. That's what I'm trying to say. But I think if we can eliminate the Oleki, we should be really good for Corviknight in the endgame. And the fact that they didn't lead Incineroar suggests to me that they don't have it. So we are going to be able to pick up a Vine Lash, and wow, it doesn't actually pick up the knockout onto her Shifu. As we are going to see the Electroweb come out and do a little bit more onto Torkoal than I would have liked, as it does get a critical hit onto Venusaur. Not that I think it really matters. And what? We are going to see a Wicked Blow come out, do a pretty decent chunk onto Venusaur, and we are going to be able to get off a Burning Jealousy, which is nice. But unfortunately, actually, Aleki should now be in range that if we go for a Max Guard this next turn, is it going to... No, it's not going to go down to Vine Lash. It has one more turn. I don't necessarily want to lose another speed tier on Venusaur, so I might just Max. As we are going to see Glastrier come out, which... I want to preserve... I think we can actually switch out to Corviknight and then go for a Vine Lash onto Glastrier. Actually, I'm going to protect Torkoal. Nope. I'm going to go for a Protect on Torkoal just to preserve it not taking damage from Regieleki, and then hit into Glastrier, just with the idea that so we are going to see a Max Glastrier, which I think is fine because of the fact that we do have Corviknight in the back, and Corviknight can immediately start setting up pressure, especially once Regieleki is gone. And then I think that is going to kind of be what we go for. Maybe would have been better to Max Aleki. I mean, not Max Aleki, Max Torkoal. I mean, not Torkoal, Max Corviknight. But I think that's fine. We are going to see the Electroweb come out into the two of us. It is going to do not that much in Venusaur, and then we should still definitely be faster. And I think just getting as much residual chip as possible onto Glastrier is what's important. We are going to see it do not that much, which makes me think... Okay, so they are going to go for a Quake into Torkoal. And now what? We are going to see the, what is it called? The Aleki go down, and we can see what their final thing is, which I'm assuming is going to be Dusclops, right? I don't really see a reason why. And what's important is because we protected that turn, we are going to make it so Glastrier doesn't have a boost. And I think if we can keep it that way, we'll be in a really good spot. So the question is, do they have Incineroar or do they have Dusclops? I expect it to be... Okay, so it is an Incin, which does... It does actually make things really tricky. I feel like you're going to fake out into Venusaur. Because now... Oh, Venusaur has a turn of Max left. I'm going to switch out into Corviknight, and I'm going to go for a Max Quake onto the Incineroar. Right? Oh, I thought our Max was done. Okay. So the thing is, if they're probably going to try and take down Venusaur with Incineroar and then use Glastrier for Torkoal. So I'm hoping for another Max Quake, because if we can stop that boost, that's really great, because we've wasted another turn of their Max. We can go for a Protect the subsequent turn and we'll be fine. We are going to see the Max Quake come out into their Incineroar, and it's going to do not nearly as much as I would have liked, to be honest. I would have definitely appreciated more damage, but I do expect a Flare Blitz, into Venusaur. So they are going to take Recoil. I'm pretty okay with that. And then probably, I do expect them to go for, what is it called? I do expect them to go for another Max Quake into the Torkoal. We are, unfortunately going to see a Max Knuckle, which definitely throws a wrench in my plans, because I was really banking on them not doing that. This makes things hard. Incineroar. Oh god, Incineroar has a berry. This is going to be tricky to come back from. We are getting more chip damage onto Glastrier. I think we bring out Porygon too. I want to... Please get the special attack boost. Oh, dang it. What is Corvignite's... Corviknight has 94 speed. So that suggests to me that I will outspeed Incineroar. I feel like Protect is a lot safer. And then a Tri-Attack into... Is there turns of Vine Lash left? Nope. There is one turn of Vine Lash left. So I say we protect the Corviknight and then go for a Tri-Attack onto Incineroar. Because if Incineroar tries to taunt, that's actually really good for us. Because we want to prevent damage, and it would probably be a Glastrier going for a Max Knuckle. We are going to get the Tri-Attack off. Wow, this is actually... How fast is this Porygon? We do get decent damage, as we do see the taunt come out. I think that the taunt was very obvious. And they are going to just go for a Hailstorm. Okay, interesting choice. Hailstorm onto Corviknight, which does probably more than I would have liked. Oh, because of a crit through the Protect. Because now things are tricky, right? They are going to be taking hail damage on Incineroar, and I think a combination of the hail and the Vine Lash should pick up the knockout, right? That definitely looks like... That looks like range for a knockout. We are going to see Vine Lash pick up the knockout onto Incineroar. So we're in a good spot because we do have a guaranteed Iron Head onto Glastrier, as well as a Tri-Attack. And... Oh, I was like, did their mechs not end? I don't feel confident going for a bulk up. So I want to just go for... Yeah, right? Because either way, Porygon 2 is going to get guaranteed 2 attacks off into Glastrier, as we are going to bring it super low with this Iron Head. So even though they are going to get the weakness policy off, we are going to hit them with a Tri-Attack, and they have no spread onto us. So that should wrap up the game, right? Yep. Okay, great. Glastrier goes down. Definitely, I think it was a scary one in the fact that my opponent had really good positioning, but like it is really hard to argue against Torkoal Venusaur. Like I said, I know it's not necessarily the most exciting, but that is kind of how the team works. But going forward, we are using the last team from my 5 rental codes tomorrow, and then after that we're doing a lot of fun stuff, trying to do some cool teams that aren't necessarily the most competitive but have some really fun niches and unique options. I also have been playing a lot of Series 10 lately for people that have been trying that out, so I have some cool ideas for that. So hopefully we can get in a couple best of 3s or some interesting concepts and talks about that before the actual thing itself. So yeah, hopefully people check out the team. The link is in the description, and until next time, I hope all of you are wonderful, and I'll see you then.